Everybody, welcome back to my channel. So you guys voted on Instagram and it was to talk about the worst date I've ever been on. This is when I had a Tinder, by the way, so it's definitely very interesting, and I don't feel like it's as extra or like the worst date someone could go on, but it was definitely very interesting, to say the least. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is this Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline because it is amazing. I'm going to use it under, just around here. And yes, definitely my makeup routine has definitely changed from what I used to do or what I showed you. But this is what I do for work now because I have time because my schedule shift changed. So I have time to sleep in, make myself breakfast, do some makeup and all that. It's really funny that I'm doing this with this mirror and there's a mirror right there. Whatever. Yes, so I met this guy on Tinder. I thought he was very fucking cute. I was like, wow, like, he looks very interesting. I don't know what I'm gonna name him, probably just gonna omit his name from the story, so whatever. I'm gonna use the Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil, which is basically a BB cream from NYX, and I'm using the shade, I don't think it has a shade, Deep Mocha. And then I'm gonna mix it with the Oh Hi. It is, it's basically like a highlighter, liquid pearl drops. I remember how to use this and I just dotted it. It definitely beams. That bitch is bright. But I am gonna show you the way I use that I love because it makes me look so glowy. So actually let me move my bangs. Let me move my bang real quick to read that. So what I do is, I take just a few drops of this and then I mix it with the BB cream. And it's just so pretty, like, it just looks like liquid gold. And the main reason why I even started mixing this is because the BB cream itself is just a tad bit too dark for me, so it doesn't blend all too well. It looks like I'm Kylie Jenner painting myself into a different race. But no. Like, do you see that glow? Just like, even without highlighter. Like, this is something I would probably use. Or this combination, I wouldn't even need to apply highlighter. Me applying highlighter would probably just be, you know, me being extra for like an extra glow. And it just blends with my skin tone so well. Because I feel like the biggest issue I have, especially with beauty creams, is they don't have variety when it comes to shades, except like the really expensive ones. But honey, we are on a budget. We don't have time to be paying for $40 BB creams. Oh, it just looks like I woke up and I had the best stick of my life. Moving on, I'm gonna set it with the Oh Hi powder. I swear by this, as you see, I'm already hitting pan, which is so sad and hurtful. Let's see, where's my little powder brush? I met this guy on Tinder. It was cute, and he was very sweet. We actually ended up talking for a bit. I did try to arrange plans, but at that time in my life, I don't know what I was going through. I think I was talking to like an ex at that time, and it was kind of confusing me as to what to do. So I kind of just took a step back from talking to anyone on Tinder, or just anyone in general that wanted to do more, and I just did not entertain anyone. And I felt really bad, so I took a step back, and then I came back in, and sorry, someone's in my contact. So I came back on Tinder like after, I still had the app and everything, I just wasn't really looking at any of my messages. But I came back on Tinder and he was still there, we still were matched, so I reached out to him. Actually, we had Instagram, we follow each other on Instagram, and we started talking through there. It turns out we actually knew people like in common. So I was like, okay, whatever, this is kind of cool. I explained my situation. I don't know, even when people don't just need an explanation, I always feel the need to explain where I'm coming from or why I did something when no one deserves it probably. Like, I don't owe anyone anything, but I was like, whatever. So let me just do my eyebrows really quick off camera. I'm using the NYX brow pencil, and this is in the color Black. After I've, outlined my brows and gotten the shape that I want, I go in with Glossier's Boy Brow. And I really focus heavy on the ends, like putting most of the product there and just like kind of like dotting it in there. And then I just kind of brush them up and out to get that Instagram feathery brow that everyone does. It just makes your brows look so much fuller. And I actually got a compliment on my brows recently at work. So I was like, oh my god, are those your brows? They're so thick. And meanwhile, I'm just like, that's actually just boy brow. And it's partially why I stopped using the I think it was the Anastasia brow dip. And not that I don't dislike it or anything, it's actually my favorite product and it's like amazing. But I want a more natural looking brow. So I use this. And there you go, it just looks lovely. So, back to the story. I ended up going out on a date with this guy and I was just like, okay, or agreed to going on a date. And I was a little apprehensive and I don't remember why I got that feeling, but I had a feeling. I was like, let's just see where it goes, why not? So, we started talking a little bit more. It comes closer to the time of us about to just meet up and do our thing. And then, you know, I don't have a car. I take Tri-Rail everywhere, like not everywhere, but go to work, or I just Uber to get where I need to be when it's work related. Other than that, usually I'm with friends who, even when I had my car, it was always like, do you want me to pick you up? And I was like, okay, whatever. It was just like, so I never really saw the complete use of doing it. So, or just getting a car, so I was like, why not? I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And it saves me money. Instead of paying so much for insurance, paying so much for fucking, what else is there? Wow, I cuss so much. And I think I explained that in my last video, that I cuss a lot. But, pause on story. Should I do Trophy Wife? Ginger Binge? I'm gonna do Champagne Pop by Becca. Take a little bit. I love this highlighter because it just looks so natural. It literally looks like, you know, I just only sweat in this area. So it gets closer to the time. I don't have a car, so I just told them, you know, I would meet up with you wherever you want via, like, I'll just Uber to you and just go from there. So I was like, okay, true. So we couldn't really decide on a place, and I was just indifferent, so we just ended up getting we just ended up getting like pizza or whatever, and we're at my place, and it was really nice because we were just in an intimate setting. We only got to literally like look at each other, talk to each other, so it was like not necessarily forced conversation. It was like, you are with each other in this vicinity, you have to talk to each other. Whereas if you go out and do an activity, you can kind of distract yourself, kind of run away or go, you know, just do something different. So, yeah. So we get to my place, and we're just talking, having a good time. We're actually shooting the shit, but then he starts like saying some like, it was about this author, or this, I think it was a speaker, and he was very controversial. He's very problematic. And he was completely agreeing with everything he had to say, and I'm just thinking like, yeah, great. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself later. So we end up talking more in depth with each other, getting to know each other more, and I'm just like, okay, I can kind of look past that, whatever. I come to find out he doesn't have a car, which is, you know, who am I to judge, because I'm carless myself. So I'm just like, okay, both of us can't be struggling in this right now. Like, someone has to give. Like, I have the apartment, you have the car. Like, let's do something. Like, I know that sounds so judgmental and bitchy of me, but I'm just like, come on, we both can't be struggling right now. So I was like, you know what, I'll look past it. And he did talk about how he was gonna get a car soon, so I was like, okay, whatever, we'll see where this goes. So we start talking a little bit more about stuff, just about each other, like our interests. So I'm also gonna put some of this highlighter on my eye, because when you take pictures and there's like this little shimmery eye effect, it's so cute. I wish I could just find like a gloss that like doesn't make my eye feel like it's about to stay shut. But yeah, so we were gonna drink as well. This man brought over Hennessy, so I was like, he's hood, I love him. And he brought over Hennessy. He brought over also weed and stuff, and I was like, okay, true. I don't personally smoke weed. I just love drinking. So out of nowhere, he pulls out a cigarette box. He goes to smoke some cigarettes. I'm like, okay, whatever. So he goes outside to smoke a cigarette. It's cool or whatever, and I'm just kind of indifferent about it. So he goes aside, comes back in, and then he puts it in his pocket. Then he's looking at his phone. Then Then we're talking again, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready to put it all aside because he seems very cute. He's very genuine. He's very authentic, and that's what I really love about a person. And he just made it so clear that he was not like a chaser or whatever. Just very accommodating. So we get to the part where it goes completely south. So as we're talking, he pulls out a cigarette box again. I'm like, okay. He pulls out a dime bag of Coke, and I'm like, what? So then he's just like, do you want to take a bump? And I'm like, I mean, if I say no, I sound like a prude. If I say yes, I'm engaging in activity I don't do, like, or I don't care for. So I'm sitting here like, what do I do? So I'm sitting here like, in my head, I'm like having like 3 scenarios run through my head. So it's like, no, I'm okay. You can do it though. He proceeds to do Coke, and I'm like, right. I'm gonna use the shade Nutmeg from NYX. This is, I swear by this lip pencil. I used to actually hate lip liners. I thought they were so pointless. I'm like, just get the lipstick in that shade. I get it because sometimes they don't come in that shade, and sometimes we just want to do lip liner, make your lips look a little fuller. My world has been changed. I bow down to it. I love it. This year we're all about change and doing things new. Just leave the middle open like that. And then I go in with the Glossier lipstick, and this is in the shade Cake. You can see that, yep. And it's such a pretty color. So it's a nice little gradient. And I do this lip on a daily basis. So to finish this story, so he pulls out his Coke, he's doing it, and I'm like, okay, great. I never want to see this person ever again. So the next day, he then proceeds to exit, and then texts me the next day like, oh, I hope I made a good first impression. I'm sitting here like, what? So at the end of the day, I was just very perplexed by this person. I was like, you really thought you made a good impression? You thought you did something there? And I'm like, okay, well, it was nice getting to know you. I hope you have a good life, whatever. And yeah, that was probably the worst first date I ever went on. Like I said, I made it probably seem dramatic on like when I was talking about it on Instagram, but it was just so awkward for me. And I was like, okay. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed me doing my little beat that I do every day for work or when I'm gonna hang out with friends. That's about it. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Tell me about your worst first date ever in the comments. Like, I would love to hear y'all's stories. But until next time, bye guys.